Hello and welcome back to Reactivity TV. I'm Amy Albero and I'm a licensed therapist.
I am Chris. I'm not a licensed therapist, but what I am is happy to be back. Question mark?
You're unsure?
I am unsure, but we're going to get to that soon. Now, I know what you're all thinking. Chris and Amy, there's no Dancing with the Stars going on for another 8 or 9 months.
That's
What's
not
going on?
What brought us here?
I know, but I want to address the elephant in the room. Okay. I'm sorry, but we're going to talk about The Bachelor. Hang tight, and for 8 months, we'll come back to Dancing with the Stars. We know how much you all loved it.
What you're really doing is projecting that you are sorry that you have to be here and that you wish we could be talking about Dancing with the Stars, but we are not. We are excited to be here, excited to be back.
Question mark?
Talking all things The Bachelor season 29, Grant Ellis's season. And I know that there is a part of you that enjoys this.
I have some serious intrigue around what this season's gonna be for us. Because here's the thing. We've received virtually no marketing. Mm-hmm. We've received virtually no information about the season. The teaser we got was a single 2-minute teaser. That was the same teaser that they showed us at the end of Jones' season. We've seen nothing more than a little introduction to the women where there was no speaking. They all just had their name flash on the screen and they wiggled for about 5 seconds, not even maybe 3 seconds each. And that was it. They have given us nothing. And to me, that says something without saying something. So my first question is, on a scale of 1 to 10, how concerned are you that this season is terrible and that's why there's no promotion?
I'm very concerned about that. But in your mind, you're not quite a veteran, but you're not quite a novice in this franchise. What would be concerning to you? What would make it a terrible season?
Well, so I went back and watched Grant's when he was announced, and right before they played the trailer, the teaser trailer, during Joan and Chalk's time on the couch together, and that was cringy. We talked about it back then. Definitely, he needs media training. He basically just said the same 3 words 5 times, and it was just not conveying anything that was super exciting. He's definitely a guy that we've said in the past seems to do better, when he's not the focus of the camera, right?
Maybe a little more candid.
Yeah, absolutely. But we like the guy a lot, actually, in the season. But my concern is that the media training just never quite developed. And as a result, it just is going to come across as a really awkward, stiff season. Maybe he ends up being not a particularly strong lead for a variety of reasons. And it just becomes sort of a dull, boring season.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's why we're getting no hype whatsoever.
It could be, I agree. So it could be that. Although I will say that you criticized Joey nearly the entire time for being stiff. And
he was unbelievably
He's a reigning king. He is.
Listen, I like Joey, right? Shout out, Dancing with the Star champion, 2024.
And
won,
so
right? He did win. Oh, just double checking.
It feels like 1,000 years.
It feels like it was so long ago.
But I think we just need to accept and expect that the first couple of weeks on the show, when the Bachelor or the Bachelorette is getting their footing, it's gonna feel a little stiff and inauthentic. We're still gonna talk about it, of course, but I think we just need to expect that we have enough data to suggest that is just how it is and how it goes when you're trying to find your footing. So so it sounds like one way that this could be a terrible season is that he just never catches his stride, and we don't really have an entertaining show. My counter to that, I have a couple of thoughts, but my counter to that is, if he's a weak Bachelor, that means more entertaining season, because then the women aren't in check and it is a fucking shit show of drama, which could be very entertaining. So I don't know. If he's a weak lead, we might get really good TV. So I don't know.
I feel like there'd be something teased better. I'm concerned. Look, you say a lot by not saying anything. Well, no, and I feel like we're not.
Another likely possibility, because they're not really giving us much, is that he ends up with no one, right? He doesn't have a happy ending. How are they going to get behind this season where he doesn't end up with anyone? Or maybe he fucks up at the end. Or maybe he is not a great Bachelor that they really want to put like more money behind. I don't know. That's worst case scenario. I hope that's not the case, but that would be, again, poor outcome. And he ends up maybe being an asshole. And we've had that. We've had bachelors in the past that have like become the villain of the show. Mm-hmm. I don't see that for Grant. I hope that that's not the case, but that could be why we're not getting much promo, is they are not invested in the ending.
Mm-hmm.
Before we get into the women, can we just do a little catch up on Grant and who he is and all of that stuff?
Yeah.
So what do you remember about Grant from Jen's season?
If I recall, he was a former professional basketball player. I don't remember how deep it went. Like, I don't know if he was like a Winston Bishop off in Latvia type situation.
Pause. Did we learn that on the season, or did you learn that from your research?
We knew that from his intro.
I had that.
Yeah, it wasn't prevalent that much. But if you remember, like, he played basketball with what's her face in one of their little things out in the driveway.
Oh, maybe.
And it was something that came up very early. But then it kind of never came up again. Now, I remember that he was a day trader, mm-hmm. or a trader of some kind.
Day trader. Can you define what that is?
Sure. So a day trader is a fake Wall Street person. No, okay. So let's be.
You were a day trader for a little bit.
I was a day trader. Yeah,
when you were laid off.
When I was laid off, when we first started dating, I was laid off for 18 months. That was during the credit crisis, and I was literally day trading my severance package to pay the bills, and that's what I did for 8 months before things kind of leveled out again, and then I was able to get back to work. But so a day trader is somebody who, almost overwhelmingly is sort of a stock market trader. They are trading their own money. It tends to be a very small, relatively speaking, amount of money. And they take very short-term positions, usually, holding stuff for days at a time, and then they sell it off. Day traders are oftentimes not particularly sophisticated investors, and they overwhelmingly lose more than they make in the long term. But in the short term, they can sometimes, mm-hmm. like a squirrel find a nut. When somebody tells you they're a day trader, usually you should just assume that they're that they're probably not a millionaire. Mm-hmm. Is what I'll say. They like to dabble in the stock market. They make some trades, but they sit at their computer all day long looking at charts. But if they were actually sophisticated, they would not. They'd have a different title, is what I would
mm-hmm. say. Okay, that's fair. Thank you. Sorry, I keep interrupting you.
Yeah, no, it's all good.
So yes.
And for the record, when I was day trading, I would qualify myself as having been very unsophisticated relative to what I would later become in my career. Mm-hmm. And I definitely should not have been day trading my severance package. It worked out okay, but it was not wise. It was not wise, and I would not recommend somebody to do what I had done back then. Mm-hmm. I just was able to capitalize on a period of high volatility. And that's really what you're doing as a day trader.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. So good to know. So it gives us a little bit of insight potentially into Grant
and his personality.
Yeah.
It means he's a risk taker. Mm-hmm. It means he's not afraid of risk. He's has to have confidence. And when you are a day trader, oftentimes because you're trading your own money and you're dealing, you make a lot of money by making high levered volatility bets. What it does mean is that there are days where you, like, let's just say you have $100,000 that you're trading up and down. You could be up or down $20,000 in an afternoon. Mm-hmm. And, some people, even thought of that is vomit inducing. Mm-hmm. Whereas other people, it's like, okay, I'll make the 20 grand back tomorrow. And so it tells you that, he has a stomach for risk and stress. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So that actually makes him a really good candidate to be a lead.
Yeah, I would agree.
Okay. All right. Well, that's good to know. Other things about Grant, just like basic bio facts that I found out while I was, prepping for this. He's 30. Mm-hmm. He's from Houston. Mm-hmm. We did know this. He's very close with his mom.
Yep.
He's also incredibly attractive, and that is a fact. He's a very, very attractive guy. He was he also seemed to really get to a very vulnerable place with Jen and feel like he fell head first for her and was ready to go all in. And so he does seem like he, at least as what was portrayed on Jen's season, seemed like he's ready to do the damn thing, like to get
Mhm.
married.
Yeah.
The thing that we are learning from the teaser potentially is he's an aspiring musician.
Did I get aspiring, or just that he's interested in the creative arts and this is just something that he likes to do as a hobby on the side? I agree. This felt like it came out of
It's
nowhere.
like, what?
And like suddenly he's playing the piano and all this other stuff,
Writing
and
his own
singing
original
and,
songs.
yeah, and so like it did feel like it came a little bit out of left field. It wasn't clear to me if that was like a career path for him. It wouldn't shock me if this whole day trading thing is just in while waiting for his music career to take off. I don't know, but it did feel like we did not hear about that at all in Gen season, and then suddenly that seems to be a focal point, at least in the 2-minute teaser.
Yeah,
so
yeah, right. Well, I'm definitely looking forward to getting to know Grant more, to see Grant more. I'm rooting him on, and based on what we saw and what we know, seems like a catch. Before we get into the women, just wanted to also give a quick fact about the women. We have 25 women, which is a smaller
standard
pool.
or no?
It varies. I think Joey had closer to 30, which means Grant's first cut might not be as drastic as Joey's potentially. And that the women of this season are on the older scale than typical.
I noticed a lot of 3 handles.
Yeah, which is exciting, and
Which also
the youngest
might
age is 25, which is also great.
Yeah, it does indicate that perhaps we might hew a little bit away from some drama.
The like immaturity.
Yeah, I mean the difference between 25 and 30 from a maturity standpoint, especially with females, is pretty significant.
Yes. Okay. So you were going to say, like, as you were seeing what was out there, even from the women, it seems like you had some observations, despite the fact that we didn't get very much. So what kind of stuck out to you?
Well, okay. So I read all 25 of these bios. And
you were dedicated to this.
I was dedicated. I do my homework. The people deserve it. Like I'm not just going to half-ass it. I'm not going to, not going to treat it like I would Bachelor in Paradise. And I was not impressed with the authorship writing. It felt like they copy and pasted the same 5 bios 5 different times, changed the name. It was not particularly inspiring reading through these bios, and it's nothing against the women. It just, again, speaks to what we were talking about before. Where was the marketing effort? It felt like every third bio just said something to the effect of a self-proclaimed romantic, or a self-proclaimed love at first sight aficionado type thing. It was just like, okay, I've seen this same thing over and over. I don't think I really learned anything particularly interesting. And they had 3 facts about each one, and or interesting, fun facts. And none of the stuff that was written was particularly interesting. We got a lot of things like, oh, so-and-so doesn't like to leave the house without lipstick on. It's like, yeah, you signed up for the Bachelor series. Somehow I'm going to go out on a limb and say none of you are leaving the house without lipstick on ever. Like that just seems like an aspect of the personality.
Right, they weren't particularly revealing.
They were not revealing. And so even here, there was such a small amount of usable information to glean. And I thought that was, again, really telling. Like, why aren't you telling us anything? And that made me nervous. That being said, there were there was a few takeaways. One, we got a handful of lawyers. We definitely have ages that are stepped up a little bit. The average age is definitely feels like it's in that kind of 30th, 3 handle kind of situation, which I like. I think it felt like we had a good diversity of types of people. And it definitely felt like there were a couple of people that they're kind of just billboarding to us, this feels like a match, right? You've got another former basketball, pro basketball player in there. You've got a couple people that definitely hew more towards the creative arts, which is sort of the narrative that they're going for them. And then you just have a bunch of women that are just so completely in left field from what it seems like Grant would want, where you kind of question what their in is going to be. So I guess that's a long way of saying I didn't love any of the candidates. Yeah. None of them particularly stood out to me thus far. But we'll see.
Yeah.
The more I talk about it, the more nervous I'm getting.
Why is that? Because we have so little
Just
to
so
pull
little.
from?
Like, this is a multi-billion-dollar franchise,
Yeah,
and
what's
you
going
have
on?
ignored this season.
Yeah. And The Bachelor is the star of the franchise.
It's the
the
core.
moneymaker.
It's the core. And here's the thing that's really like making me nervous is like, hello, people, Bachelor in Paradise. Presumably, some of the core Bachelor in Paradise people cast are coming off of this season.
Mm-hmm.
Are they? Question mark.
Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, one of the things that I was like thinking in my mind as I was looking through the list, which again, all the same things as you, it was cool to see so many like women in like professional careers and aged up. That was great. And the thing that I kept trying to figure out while I was reading through the bios and just even looking at the photos, but I stopped myself because it was pretty unfair, is like, okay, who's going to be our villain of the season? Who's going to be my new insert person who annoys me the most? And I'm going to reserve that based on, I'll really give my first impression at the limo entrances, but I did find myself wondering that while we were looking through the list, like who's going to be the super annoying one for me this
You know
season.
who it is? I'm looking for right now. I got her pegged. This one.
I thought she'd be a villain.
I'm sorry. This one?
Yeah, I thought she'd be a villain.
Kidding me? She's the only one I'm like super interested in getting. Carolina,
just based on the way
Quizamo?
the way that she's looking, I'm like, okay, you could be a villain.
Isn't afraid to get what she wants, speak her mind in English, Spanish, or French.
Damn, trilingual.
Trilingual. That's impressive. You know. By the way, they brought up Joe Jonas a lot in these articles.
Oh God, that made me feel old.
Is that just because that's the age? If you're a 30-year-old, like that was who was hot when these were all like 13-year-old girls. Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, because I remember the Jonas Brothers. Like I was older than that, so it just feels like maybe
too distant of a reference.
It felt like But anyway, yeah, I'm kind of very interested in seeing where Carolina. I'm assuming it's Quizamo.
Well, that was the other thing. We got first and last names, which we don't usually get. We usually get like a Carolina Q.
What about we have this Ella Del Rosario. Does she in her picture look like Jen or what?
She does look like Jen.
I mean, at first I was like, wait, they're bringing Jen back as a contestant? Couldn't get enough of her? By the way, can we do a quick sidebar? Jen ended up dating
Sasha,
her
dance partner
from Dancing with the Stars. So after bombing out with Devin and then having a relatively decent showing on Dancing with the Stars, she's now dating the dance partner with Dancing with the Stars. That can't last, right?
They've been together for a bit. Listen, I wish Jen the best. I'm not here to hate on Jen. But what I will say is what was kind of annoying is that they seem to kind of bait the audience for like weeks and weeks and weeks. Are they dating? Are they not dating? And then finally, after the season was over and like everyone, the Dancing with the Stars season was over and everyone sort of lost interest in that, they just like launched their relationship, which good for them. I mean, they're cute together. I hope they're happy. You know, Jen, good luck. Wishing you the best. You're back in PA school. Do it, girl. Like, good for you.
Yeah.
People that I liked for Grant.
Yep.
And again, I'm sorry if I'm butchering the name. I'm going to try to say it two different ways. Maybe one of them is right. Lydia or Leisha Gar, 31 years old from Salt Lake City. She's a venture capitalist. That made me curious. But things that I liked about her as it related to Grant, I mean, she's very pretty. But also I liked that she has a career that's also financially related. And so that there's some commonality there. She also is a big sports fan. So I think that is helpful. She has hobbies that are interesting, which seem to match some of Grant's hobbies that are interesting. He like quoted like enjoying karaoke and like things like that. Yeah, I just felt like she just seemed like a kind of down to earth, woman. So I liked her. And then the other person I liked was Niecy Baxter.
Yep.
32-year-old from South Carolina, pediatrician. And I mean, the article refers to her as the ultimate catch. And she really is. She's a pediatrician. She works in hospitals, passionate about her career. fulfilled in professional life, ready for love. She also has a lot of dogs, which I thought was
red flag. Yep.
No, but Grant in a promo video said that like in his future he sees, him and his wife, kids and a bunch of dogs. So I'm like, all right, we got the dogs. And then she also has some things that are like a little frivolous that like balance out her being a pediatrician, and like that she said always wanted to be a spy, would love an invite to the annual Kardashian Christmas party. Ugh. So it's like, okay, she could be both. She could be
at least that is a good like factoid.
Yeah.
Like wanting to be a spy. Like that's cool.
It's fun.
Yeah, that's fun. Yeah.
So those were my two that I liked.
You want to know who my villain of the season is?
Who?
Rebecca Garrett. Calling it now. This girl has all the markings of villain. 31, Dallas, Texas. She's an ICU nurse. She's ambitious, right? Wants adventure, sure, whatever. But then she kind of goes on in her bio. It talks about how she's, looking for a man to understand her life's perspectives, values, and goal-focused mindset. Those are all red flags. This is that is a statement that says not dateable. Okay, just for all you women out there, making your Tinder bios. Or what's
Tinder bios?
Cupid? What?
Hinge?
Hinge? Is it Hinge these days? What are the kids
Bumble.
using? Bumble? That's
Hinge?
Still around?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Don't copy Rebecca Garrett's bio is what I'm going to say.
Well, we don't know who actually wrote these, but
no, I get it. But what I'm saying is that's my villain of the season right there. I'm calling it now. Rebecca Garrett.
I guess we'll see.
Also, I'm a little on the fence. Either Rose is going to be fun and adorable, or she's going to be a super hardcore villain.
I've been holding my tongue to say this. And I guess we'll see, but she already annoys me.
What? How? What did she do?
I think there's something about again, the way it's written.
It's because she admits she's a terrible dancer.
She has a big heart, bigger personality. She describes herself as a romantic, optimistic, and goofy, and that she's always been the caregiver in relationships. Enough. I'm exhausted already. I don't,
Okay.
Show me, don't tell me.
Sure. Yeah. I think that she's either going to be like a fun.
She's very cute though.
She's very, very average. But yeah.
I mean, she looks like she's cute.
Sure. Yeah, she looks like she's very average, but that's okay. Yeah, but we'll see. I'm interested to see how she's going to play out. She's kind of the wild card for the season for me. Like, I really don't know what to expect. She could be fun and light and funny and cutesy, or she could be an absolute terror. Can I just point out though, Zoe McGrady, super beautiful.
Yeah, gorgeous.
She probably is the most beautiful.
Isn't she a model?
No. She's a tech engineer. Oh, she is a model too. Anyway, so Zoe probably gets my vote as, at least in terms of the pictures we've seen, probably gets my vote as the prettiest girl on the season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's very pretty. Let's hope that she has enough of a personality to get her through, that she doesn't just fade into the background.
Sure.
No, it's a very vibrant cast, lots of different careers, lots of different personalities, a diverse cast, good age range. I mean, again, they're giving us the makings, just on paper alone, of a good cast. It's so hard to tell, though, actual personalities based on what we've gotten. Yeah,
I really enjoyed Joan's season teaser where we got to see the guys talk a little bit, interact, even just saying a few words. But I mean, think about how much we gravitated towards Jonathan, and Pascal and all these characters that it was just enough to feel a little bit for these people, and nothing this season.
Yeah.
So I don't know. All right. So, I mean, I feel like as far as preview episodes go, we are flying very blind. This is probably the first season where we don't really have a lot of strong opinions about anybody, going in. Mm-hmm. We don't necessarily feel strongly about the type of season that we're going to get. But we're hopeful and we're here for it.
We're here for it. Either way, we're going to give our honest opinions. I'll give my, therapist insights when applicable.
And I will give you the objectively correct opinion about how people should behave socially.
Yeah, but I'm excited. I'm back getting back into my Monday night routine of watching The Bachelor. I'm super pumped for that.
This is a season where, for the most part, we will be recording together. As many of you know from past seasons, especially last season where we were recording on Wednesday nights. Amy was in Miami most Wednesdays. I had to be in Connecticut, so we did a lot of recordings that were virtual last season. We're going to be back to mostly in person, so that's just better. I think it's a better dynamic. I think the crowd likes it better. And yes, we are, for the most part, because you travel on Tuesday nights and you teach classes on Tuesday, for the most part, we are going to be recording immediately after the episodes and hope to have the episodes out around lunchtime Eastern time on Tuesdays. That's going to be kind of the rough plan. So that's what you can kind of expect.
We are still hoping to grow our community, our subscribers. And so if you haven't yet, please make sure to hit that subscribe button. Join us, be with us along this journey alongside Grant. We love having you here. Make sure that you keep those comments coming. We love hearing from you too, all of your opinions as well. So can't wait to chat with you in the comments this season. All right, let's get out of here. We'll be back in a couple days.
Yep.
And we'll see you then. Bye.
See ya.